Hello everybody, and welcome to a slightly different little video on the channel today. We're going to be giving you an outline of our master's programs. So if that's something which you'd considered it, or you're considering, you're looking for a way to upgrade your career or change career, whatever else, let me just run through what our master programs are, how they work, the kind of things you're going to be getting up to, and all that sort of thing. So we'll be leading you through that. We'll be hearing from some of the students and answering your questions. If you are lucky enough to be watching this live as part of the premiere, then we'll be able to answer some of your questions in the chat running down the side of this. But I'm not here by myself today. Roll of drums. I've got Bradley Jordan with us.
Hello.
Now, Brad, what's your musical background?
So my musical background, I did an undergraduate at University of Chichester, and I specialised in film composition. And then I came to work for you, and that was about 10 years ago now.
Yeah. No.
So while we've been working together, I've been music editor and additional composer on many things that you've worked on. Lots of Netflix stuff, DreamWorks. Jungle Book, Lassie.
And you have a rock and roll pedigree as well.
Yeah, I played in bands since I was in school. And Gwen and the Good Thing, shout out to the band I was in, have done really great things. They're still going. And in 2016, we were lucky enough to play the BBC introducing stage at Glastonbury, which was fantastic.
Very, very cool.
But yeah, it's given me a certain insight into many different realms of music and the music industry, which has been really interesting and fun, and also really enjoyable to share with our students.
Perfect, indeed. And Brad looks after student support and things like that as well for us. So he's a large figure in the ThinkSpace universe. Right, let's give you a quick oversight of ThinkSpace education and how we work. We're a specialist online graduate school. We've currently got roughly 300 students in 53 countries. The way they're taught is unusual in that we have a total of 95 creative working professionals. So they may spend a couple of hours a week or a couple of days a week giving feedback, but they're all people who will come from industry. When you graduate with a UK university master's degree. We're accredited and validated, and we're partnered with the University of Chichester, so it's their master's degree. Our students get weekly one-to-one tuition, which is one of the most popular parts.
Well, it's fantastic because it means that throughout everything that you're learning, you get to check in with professionals who can say, this in a real world environment, this is what we do, or I think you could change this, or this is perfect. Go down this route. Yeah, it's really handy.
So you get half an hour on a full-time schedule. You get half an hour a week with one of our amazing teaching staff.
Of your choice as well. It's
of your choice, yeah. You can choose as many different, you don't have to have the same one all the time. You get a lifetime all-access course pass. In other words, you get access to every course we make now and every course we will make in the future. The full master's courses and the short courses. So if you're studying game composition, for example, and you suddenly have this interest in, songwriting or music production, all those course materials are available to you, all those hundreds of webinars, everything else.
Yeah, so sometimes there's exclusive early access to some of those courses we're releasing as well, which is,
so it's
you get to see it before everyone else does.
So it's sort of all-you-can-eat buffet of education. And we're just launching a new thing called an employment support program, which is essentially, it's like a sort of little boot camp, which is for our graduates. So as soon as, because the time you're going to need the support most is after you finish your course, when you're first out there trying to get work, learning how to network, getting your reel together, all that kind of thing. So we've got a program specifically designed to support students who do that. One of the things which the students are very keen on is our incredibly flexible and changeable schedules. So people move from full-time to part-time and different variations on part-time, pretty much to make the course work around their lives.
Yeah, I mean, life doesn't stop when you start education, and so we try to be as flexible as possible to allow for as much as life can throw at you, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, if you are in the UK, in England, Wales, you are eligible. You might be eligible for a UK postgraduate student loan, so that will help enormously with the fees. And we have payment plans, so you can pay gradually as you study. One of this little number at the bottom is really, really important. 96% of our students graduate.
Very proud of that one.
Yeah, it's a really important statistic, whichever institution you're looking at, you should look up, because the number of students who come out the other end of the programme speaks volumes for how good the management and the programme is itself.
Yep.
And online courses sometimes have very poor outturns, so make sure you look at that, because that's really, really significant. Right, what we want to do now is we're going to take you through the three main areas in which we teach. We offer MA programmes, which last 12 months full-time, but there's also a 2-year and 3-year part-time schedules, and an MFA programme, which is a higher degree, which goes on for 2 years full-time or 3 or 4 years part-time. Let's look at commercial music first of all. Brad, this is your the program which you helped put together.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about songwriting and music production.
So songwriting and music production is a way for you to level up your songwriting. A lot of people who have had experience either as singer-songwriters or as fledgling producers, have experience with crafting songs, but have trouble either diversifying or really making use of all of the tools that are available for songwriters and music makers out there, and that's what this course aims to develop you in those areas. So you'll do things that are maybe outside of your wheelhouse. Some things will be firmly within that wheelhouse. But do
you do mixing and mastering?
We do mixing and mastering. Yeah, we cover that. We cover synthesis. We cover lots of different styles. We do masterclasses in electronic dance music, in country music, in rock music, experimental music, all those sorts of things. And then you get an EP at the end to then either release or to market your music or share with others.
And we have specialist people like Chris Rockall and others who are there, who know everything there is to know about releasing music and helping you promote your music.
Absolutely.
So there's very much a business side which underpins this as well. Now there are 2 MFA options as well. So you can, if you're interested in songwriting, music production, but you also want to do media composition, you can do that as an MFA, or you can combine it with orchestration as well. So we'll come on to talk about both those in a minute. But that's how the MFA program works. It combines 2 specialist subject areas and gives you a very interesting and specialist cocktail of skills. So you can.
Well, there's so much overlap with everything that we do.
Yeah.
And in the industry as a whole, that it works to your benefit to do a combination of things.
It does. I mean, if you can afford the time and the money,
yes,
the MFA program is really exceptional. Let's look at where we started really, which is our film and TV music courses. Professional media composition is it's a very wide-ranging course. One of the things that really annoyed me when I first started looking at, because I've been teaching by distance learning people to write film and television music for 25 years, for a very long time. And I was struck by the fact that so many of the courses out there are entirely focused on film, which, as I mentioned in a previous video, is really not where that many people actually earn a living. Where they earn a living is in animation, is in game music, is in documentaries, is in trailers, is in library. It's all over the shop. Professional media composition looks at film, but it looks at all those other areas as well. It doesn't have any expectation that you're any particular kind of composer. If you want to come onto this as an electronic or a guitarist, electronic musician or a guitarist, that's fine. You don't have to write orchestral music to be a media composer. Just watch the telly. How much of that stuff is orchestral? Less and less is the answer.
It's the course I did actually because after a few years of working here, we started putting these together, and I thought, I want to do that course. That looks really fun. Graduated from that. I did it in 1 year, whilst working here for 40 hours a week. It was intense, but it was good. It was good fun, and I learned a huge amount from that. I think I learned more in that master's course and from working here than I did in my undergraduate degree, because there's so much more actionable and things I can put into practice in the real world that I didn't learn before.
No, completely. And we should say that we have just completely redone professional media composition from the ground up. So all the materials in it were made within the last year, and everything in there is exclusive to the master's programs and nothing from anywhere else. Orchestration for film, games and television. looks very specifically at writing orchestral music. It teaches you advanced composition as well as orchestration. It also takes you through the many complicated steps you need to go from sitting here, writing a bit of music, to standing there with an orchestra in front of you having it play. You need to know about, not only the technical side of orchestration, but session preparation. How are those scores going to look when they get on the stands? How are we going to avoid, cock-ups in the session?
Oh God, organisation is so important.
Absolutely.
So important with that stuff,
building the Pro Tools sessions, all that kind of thing. And it concludes with a live orchestral session. Yeah. You went this year, didn't you?
I did go this year. It was really fun. I was running around like a mad rabbit, doing all of the filming.
Yeah.
I did get to stand up on the podium myself and can do a bit of conducting, which was
something.
Really? It was something I finally got to do after years and years of being like, maybe this year. But it is, and I can say this with complete sincerity, a really exhilarating experience to have all of those people sit in front of you waiting.
Yeah, 50-piece orchestra for half an hour is what you get. So that's, It's great. It's great. It's great. And you can do an MFA which combines both professional media composition and orchestration for film, games and television. And the orchestration course also, like media composition, has been completely redone from the ground up in the last 12 months. So there is nothing in there which is, I think, older than 12 months old. So it's brand spanking new. Finally, the third limb of our little empire is composing. And one of the fastest growing and one of the most popular is the games courses. Composing for video games, where you're learning to obviously write music for video games. Sound design for video games, where you're learning about game audio and implementation. And the MFA, which combines the two. Yep. The really important thing here is that we teach you composition. If you're doing composing for video, we teach you composition, obviously. Of course, yeah. We're teaching you how to write the music, how to write the brief and all the rest of it. But we're teaching you to create an interactive music system. And you will learn to implement it using stuff called middleware, which is a bit of software which sits in between you, the composer, and the game engine, whether it be Unity or Unreal. And that's where, just like working in the DAW, it's where you program the interactivity. So loop that piece, then go to this piece, etc. It is fascinating. It is absolutely
I love this
brilliant.
world of stuff. And I've only recently sort of been brought into that because we've released some other courses that have had a slant on composing for video games. And it's a completely different deployment of your already established skills, which is so much more. If you're a problem solver, you'll love it because
exactly right.
You have a brief, and it's less like here's this film, here's the mood, here's what I'm looking for. It's like, no, we've got this problem, we've got this amount of time, we need to get from A to B and have this amount of ramping tension. You go, right, let's start figuring that out, and that is. It's just a different skill. I love video games anyway, so I've got a passion for the medium. But the music aspect of it is just so fascinating.
Yeah. And, I mean, sound design is game audio. And this has become increasingly more and more popular. Partly because for every one composer on a game, there's probably 3 or 4 sound designers.
Yeah.
And sound designers tend to get staff jobs or long-term contract jobs. So if you're looking for a slightly safer, more reliable career path, then working in game audio is really good. It's still competitive. It's still very competitive, but there's more employment, and we have a very high degree of success of getting our graduates into jobs. So they're all over the industry. So game audio and it's the same kind of thing you get out of writing music. You're taking bits of sound and telling stories with them and manipulating them and trying to take the sound of a small puppy and turn it into a T-Rex or whatever. It's all that kind of thing, and it's just...
Yeah, creating sounds for things that don't exist, I think, is probably one of the most fun things I've ever done. Having, here's this fictitious, piece of equipment, and it's got to make this specific sound, and you go... I could do anything.
Yeah.
And there's no rules either. I mean, there are some things you can and can't do for technical reasons, but the world's your oyster when it comes to creating a certain sound, especially if it doesn't exist. And it's so much fun. Yeah. And as a composer, if you're going to try and get into the world of video game music, it's really good to have a sound design element in your back pocket as well. Being able to do both makes you like a one-stop shop for a lot of people who would do hiring on jobs. So if you can say, I can do your music, or also if you need someone to do your sound, suddenly...
Particularly on small indie games and things like that, where you can
absolutely.
just do both. So that's why we have a game music and audio MFA. So it's essentially a double master's 2-year course where you get to do both. So it's, very, very popular. Let's just have a quick look at the many and various options on the MFAs. So you can do media composition and orchestration, media composition and games composition, so that you can combine that detailed experience of writing non-linear music with normal media music. Games composition and orchestration, that's particularly popular because I think probably even the majority of orchestral sessions going on at the moment in the big studios are for games, not necessarily just for film. Games composition and game sound design we mentioned, songwriting and music production and media composition and songwriting and music production and orchestration. Oh my lord.
So many of them.
I know, there's plenty. Well, you know, it's sort of like Lego bricks, isn't it? But they all make sense. Now here is a big question. Who will be teaching me? The answer is some incredible people. The bits we're really, really proud of. 95 world-class working creative professionals. And we're talking about people with Emmys, BAFTAs, Grammys, Brits, and Mercury Prize winners and nominees. I mean, this is one of our big strengths. The people. I mean, and we're not just talking about people who just sort of cruise in, do a visiting lecture, and cruise on. I mean, these are people who are genuinely giving you feedback on your work, who are genuinely mentoring you, and giving you the chance to, become, the next generation of professionals. So some of the people we're working with, Billy Decker, who's out of Nashville, he's mixed and produced 50 million records, including 16 Billboard number ones.
He's a machine. When we went to film with him, it was absolutely insane how quickly he got through mixes and how good they sounded.
Yeah, I mean, my friend Phil, who's a producer, electronic music artist, worked with Lady Gaga, Kylie, Katy Perry, 3 billion streams on TikTok. Phil's got. He comes in, gives feedback. He does webinars, stuff like that. Peter Bateman, good friend of ours. He's central to the new version of our orchestration course. He wrote us 3 pieces of incredible music, which we recorded with a 80-piece orchestra, and you get to see the whole session. You get to deconstruct all the scores. So Peter works with Danny Elfman, James Newton-Howard, people like that. But we got lots of really cool up-and-coming composers, like Holly, for example. We got about just under 50% of our teaching staff are women. So for those of you, for women who are trying to get into either film and television or games and feel it's an all white male preserve, don't think that. There is plenty of opportunity, and we have a really strong support network for women composers and sound designers. There's a girls' hangout every month, which is run by Andrea. And so we are very, very focused on supporting people from outside the sort of norm and helping them into this exciting world as well. One or two others. Kevin Mantai from Los Angeles, who's best known for things like Spider-Man, Justice League, Batman, Gotham Knights. He's recently come on the team and is doing some teaching. Mick Cook, who's both a Brit and a BAFTA winner. So he's both a media composer and he was a member of Bell and Sebastian, and well-known Scottish band. Joe Quayle, film composer, touring musician. Ross Treganza, major league games composer. So, we could go on, and
we will.
We frequently do. This is some of the stuff which they've done and people they've worked with. So when we say you're going to be learning from people who have some real experience in this, we're not kidding.
Yeah, and it made all the difference being on PMC and professional media composition. Sorry, we talk in initialism. But yeah, it made all the difference having submitted something that I was, either proud of or not sure about, and getting the feedback and knowing that this person has done stuff that has written music for projects that I know and love or know and like, and their feedback, I can take that 100% and go, okay, absolutely, I will employ that. If that's what you're saying I need to do, that's what I'll do.
And it's all, I mean, and these are people who are still working.
Yeah, exactly, and that's important.
Yeah, it's not like people who did it once a long time ago. Yeah. It's people who are doing it every day.
Well, the industry shifts so quickly that if you don't have people who are currently doing it, like it becomes out of date pretty quickly.
Yeah, completely, absolutely. Let's look at how the whole studying online thing works, because for a lot of you, doing online courses is, it might be a new thing, or certainly doing online courses at this kind of scale would be a very new thing. You will get prodigious amounts of course videos and text, which is all delivered through our custom course virtual learning environment. So there are, well, we've currently got 5,000 videos on Vimeo, I think.
Yeah, about that. They keep telling us we've got too many.
I know. I mean, so there is a load of stuff. Demonstrations, interviews, filming of all kinds of stuff.
Past webinars.
Yes, and there's a whole so there's lots and lots of that stuff, which you can go through obviously at your own time. You will be spending quite a lot of time doing creative project work. This is the meat of the
bread and butter of it.
Yeah, it is. You will be doing regular projects. Every on a full-time schedule, every couple of weeks, you're going to be submitting some work and getting feedback on it. So it's this constant repetition. The working on that, you'll get faster and faster. You get a lot faster than you write music now, and you'll be getting, weekly half-hour one-to-ones with working composers, sound designers, artists, whatever. You'll be getting really in-depth written feedback when you submit your projects. So whether you're putting in a song, a mix, game sound design, film score, this is how it's going to roll. You'll be getting the opportunity to attend online workshops. We have workshops for all the courses every week. So, and every time we do them, they're recorded. So they go into the webinars of library. So if you can't attend, you can always check it out later. And there's also, for those on the orchestration courses, there's both solo sessions which go on several times a year, where students get to write. So write me a minute of music for French horn, and you'll get one playthrough, you'll get one rehearsal and 2 recordings, and then you'll get feedback from the player.
From a professional session player
exactly.
as well.
We'll come and talk, we'll talk. And of course there's the live orchestral session, which we've already alluded to.
Yes.
So, the kind of thing Debbie Wiseman, a wonderful, wonderful friend of ThinkSpace, incredible composer, she's written some astonishing stuff, wrote a wonderful piece of music at the funeral of... Oh, no, the coronation.
That's
the coronation she wrote the music. Roy Merchant, incredible mixer who's worked with The Wanted, Will.i.am, MIA.
Knows his stuff.
He really does.
Very honest.
Stuff. Exactly. Bruce Broughton, Oscar-nominated composer with all those...
That backdrop says it
with
all,
that
really.
backdrop says it all. He's done several great turns for us, talking with the students. We got Ross Treganza, we mentioned before. He did an incredible round table with the people involved in cyberpunk, which was absolutely great. So this is what the live sessions look like. That's 50 people for you, with some of the students in the foreground, and that's that's the orchestra in Prague. And for those who can't turn up in person, though most people manage to somehow. We broadcast it live, so you can follow on both video and a high quality audio link, and you can talk to the score producer sitting in the gallery in the control room via Zoom or whatever else. So plenty of people from who are studying with us from China or Australia or even the United States. That's the way they do it. And you'll get half an hour of music. You get you get all the multi-track, all the Pro Tools and everything else. There's Martin Owen, who's the principal horn from the BBC Symphony Orchestra. He came in to do a solo session for us, I think last year. So that's the kind of quality of people which we try and get through the door to come and play your music. This is a new thing which we are really excited about. This is the employment support program. So when you graduate, we're not just going to leave you to hang you out to dry. I mean, the time when you need the most help in getting work, and not just that, but support and motivation, kick up the backside, frankly, is when you've graduated. So however many times we can tell you this during the course, when you actually sit there in your room, having graduated with your little certificate on the wall, that's when you need the help. So the support program is going to run with, again, lots of video tutorials teaching you, vital skills, networking, how to sort out your social media, pitching, how to build your demo reels, how to get your website together. There's going to be a version of this for the songwriters and the music producers about how to promote your work, how to get it on Spotify and all that kind of thing. How to find work opportunities for those of you who are looking for, commissioned work. And it'll all be run with live workshops with, mentors there. And it's, as much as anything, because we've run a sort of version of this in the past, it's this feeling of togetherness that some of the more shy retiring students just need to feel part of a little team.
Yeah, I've only briefly dipped a toe into looking at some of these, some of the materials we have for this recently, but within 10 minutes, I learned 10 different things I could do that would definitely increase my visibility. I mean, Mike's done a fantastic job on putting a lot of this stuff together, and his tenacity is just channeled directly into the course. And there's so many avenues for you to do really not a lot of work in order to maximize visibility and really like double down on potential avenues of work and getting different jobs. And I personally think that it's going to be really, really exciting.
Yeah, no, we're really looking forward to doing that, and supporting the students into work, because that's what most people, that's what the vast majority of students come to us for, is either to upgrade a career they're already in, or to change career, or to add a part-time string to their bow, where they're writing music or just being the best songwriter or music producer they can be. They're maximising their potential, all that kind of thing. Let's talk about our wonderful students, and they are wonderful. And there's plenty of them, and they're all over the shop. There's some of them. Currently, around 300 students in 53 countries, which, when I think back to day one, when we welcomed our first 15 students.
Yeah, that was so long ago now. Was that 2015?
2015, exactly. Yeah, life has moved on since then. So, but actually, best of all, I think probably, let's just take a moment to hear from them about their experience of studying on a ThinkSpace master's degree.
No one will take you seriously until you take yourself seriously. And once you got some skills under your belt that ThinkSpace is definitely teaching, then you will have the confidence to go forward and do what you have dreamed of.
I chose ThinkSpace because they have this amazing team of professional musicians, professional composers who are already working in the industry. They know how it works, they know what the quality of your work needs to be, and they really help you to get from where you are to where you want to be. And it's really specific as well. It's not vague. The manner in which you need to improve, they will highlight that, and they'll help you to get from where you are to where you need to be.
The course works really well being an online and remote-based course. I have a full-time job, so I'm able to combine the course with my work commitments. I can also arrange the tutorials with my tutor at a time that works for me as well, which is ideal. With ThinkSpace, it's always thinking 1, 2, even 10 years ahead. As I say, the tutors are very, very helpful.
The learning curve was huge. Wow. You learn a lot on this course. It's great. I haven't processed it all yet, but I know it's there. I love the community. I've made friends for life and look forward to working with some of these friends that I've made through school in the future.
There is a really good network of students that's installed already, so there is a community online that you can reach out to and that kind of thing. I guess for me personally it works really well because I can schedule everything that I need to do around the course, and it's a lot more flexible. Really enjoyed the guys on my course, they're great, so that's been awesome. Just getting to know them and their background as well, because we all kind of come from a similar approach, but it's just interesting to get to know different types of people within the industry as well.
Meeting other like-minded composers that you usually wouldn't connect with because you've got students from the UK but also from all around the world. I've learned a huge amount in that time. I'm a completely different musician from when I first started.
Number one, it is affordable. It has a few different options if that is something you're interested in, but for me personally, it was very much affordable, so I was very grateful for that. Also, there was no commute. I didn't really have to uproot my entire life to then go to a school and maybe stay on that campus or rent an apartment. Staying home and having my home studio be my main studio is just one of the top things that ThinkSpace kind of provided me with. I didn't rely on a school studio and then to not have that when I left. So I kind of learned from the ground up, and that was super, super important for me.
I chose this course because I knew exactly what I wanted to learn. And there aren't many places that teach that. I wanted to learn sound for games specifically and middleware. And I wanted to focus on learning practical skills and developing my portfolio. It turned out to be quite intense, even though I'm part-time. But this is a good thing because I learned so many things. And ThinkSpace is flexible, so if the course is too fast or too slow for you, you can change the pace. So that's great.
Studying online is great, especially if you're doing something like game audio, because so much of the work today is remote. You know, unless, especially if you're working in independent kinds of stuff, you're going to be working remote quite a bit. You need to learn how to communicate online, how to interface with people on the internet. I finished the course 2 years ago, and since then I'm currently working on 3 different teams. I'm working on casino games, sample development, I'm pitching for trailers, and I've also been working on some smaller indie games since finishing.
Since I finished the course, I've started working with a couple of agencies here and for advertising, and yeah, I did some documentaries, and now I'm doing an animation film, and I'm very happy.
I chose to study with ThinkSpace because of the people. I did my research on the lecturers, and they are all amazing, working within the industry. Some of them the absolute top of their field. I also chose to study with ThinkSpace because of the flexibility in being able to study online. I'm a mother of 4 and I'm in Cornwall, so being able to log on and study in my time is just absolutely so valuable for me. So if you're thinking of taking a course with ThinkSpace, I would highly recommend it. It has changed my life.
So there you go. So that's a brief extract from some of their comments on how the course worked for them. And we're more than happy to put you in touch with any of our existing students so that you can find out for yourself how it all works. Mm-hmm. Some of our recent successes, Andrew Kessler got a Grammy nomination, Matt Jorgensen just won an Emmy. Mm-hmm. Fiona is doing really, really well. She's got stuff on Sky, BBC, Channel 4, PBS. Curtis Heath, he's just a machine. He's done 10 feature films since he's graduated, and he's got licensed music in the upcoming Disney blockbuster Peter Pan and Wendy. So he's doing really, really, really well. Stephanie Leone is full-time sound designer, one of the many full-time sound designers and composers in games companies. And we've had a couple of big people winning awards recently. Johan won the Film Score Award to Soundtrack Cologne, and actually the runner-up was also one of our students. Luna Pan from Australia has won 7 awards since graduating. So, you know, they're doing great stuff. They're doing wonderful.
Just to add that, Sarah Lutz as well was she was assistant orchestrator on the Spider-Man game that came out for PS4 in 2017. I'm not sure if she's working on a new one, but yeah, there's lots. I mean, our students.
They're all doing this.
I think it's a strange thing to have. Well, it seems strange to have orchestrators working on games in that kind of way. But there's so many opportunities now for loads of our students to dip into loads of different industries. And it's great to see it.
Now, the students referred to it, but one of the big questions which I expect lots of you have is, how does the community thing work? I mean, because obviously you're sitting in your bedroom or sitting in your office or your studio, whatever else, and how are you going to feel part of a community? Well, easily is the answer. I mean, we have an enormous number of very active Discord channels. It's where we have social events, student-run webinars. There's Facebook groups, live meetups. They organise sort of quiz nights. They do listening hangs. There's ones to support various things like there's mental health, neurodiversity. Girls hang out once a month, etc.
Tabletop RPG channel for people who want to play D&D online, things like that.
There is just so much going on, and people, make lifelong friends, and it's. I know it's a virtual environment. It's not like bumping into people in the corridor, but these are real friendships and real collaborations which go on for years after people graduate.
I would argue that it really does feel like that when you see students interacting on the Discord. It does feel like that you are just like, oh, I haven't spoken to you in a while, and then a conversation happens exactly like you would in a real university. Only you can. When you say you've seen a piece of music, you can immediately share a link and someone can listen to it. It's really fun to sort of.
But this is also. For the vast majority of our students, this is the only way which you're going to be able to study a course like this. Because, as I say, the average age of our students is in their early to mid 30s. I mean, we've got plenty of young students, plenty much older. They really do go from like 21 to 75, but. Almost all of them have got a life of some description. Most have got a job, and so the whole essence of the course is to try and fit around your world. We're not going to make you up sticks and move to another city. You're not going to have to give up the job. You're going to have to learn to sort of blend the two together. So it's in many respects, it's a really enabling thing to be able to study online. Let's look at how the degrees actually work and how time and all those kind of things work, and so that you can figure out how this works for you. So an MA consists of 6 modules and a final major project, and the MFA consists of 9 modules and a final major project. Most of the modules full-time take 6 to 8 weeks, and during that time you'll be doing 2 formative assignments and 1 summative assignment. What that means is a formative assignment is, as the name suggests, it's there to help you develop. So it's a proper piece of work, normally a professional project of some description, which you hand in, and you will then get extensive written feedback on. But it doesn't count towards your final award. Whereas the summative assignment at the end, it does count towards your final award. So if you get a distinction in your summative, then that counts towards your final masters.
I think one of the things about the formatives that's really important to note as well is it's an opportunity to make mistakes, because if it doesn't count towards your final grade, then you've got nothing to lose by having some slips, but also to experiment, to try new things, to really push the boundaries. A lot of students I've seen tend to play it safe, and that's absolutely fine, but as soon as they grasp that, oh, I can really try some new things here and see what works, suddenly the work takes this monumental leap forwards, and then the tutors are being like, oh, they've done this really cool thing, and then we go, okay, and then they blast through, do the summative, do the same thing.
I mean, music production students, who never gone into the world of electronic music, but always been a sort of singer-songwriter, guitar-y type, that's the opportunity to do it, and to really stretch your legs and do something different, because it's, that's why you're here, So a course is going to assume you're going to get sort of like 18 assignments in a major project. The major project, for example, for a professional media composition, is you're writing 30 minutes of music, mostly to picture, and you'll be writing a commentary to go with it of 2,000 words. The games courses, we have custom-built games in both Unity and Unreal. There's an Unreal elective. So you'll be working with games which nobody else except ThinkSpace students have on their reel. And there's a wide choice of stuff, a
have a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of schedules, the MA, as I mentioned before, is 12 months full-time, 2 or 3 years part-time, and the MFA 24 months or 3 or 4 years part-time. Now, if you're going on to a UK student loan, the rules are that you can only go onto a 50% part-time schedule. So in other words, if you're doing your MA, you can only go onto the 2-year. You can't go onto the 3-year schedule because of the loan rules. One of the most important things is this thing about changing schedules and pausing your course. You can change your schedule at the start of each term. So if you start full-time and go, oh my, this is too much.
Too much, yep.
Start of the second term, you can go part-time. But then you think, I'm getting up to speed with this. You can go back to full-time. Or you can go down another grade. Do you see? So it's really, really flexible. You can take intermission, which means you can take a term off and sort of get your act together and then come back at the beginning of the next term. So this kind of flexibility is what many of our students say is what it just makes it doable. That's one of the big reasons why 96% of them graduate. Whereas at a normal bricks and mortar where you don't get that flexibility, they would probably just drop out. So the flexibility is absolutely core to our high completion rates. Let's have a little look at the way in which courses are organised. I mean, often you'll be doing more than one module at a time. So for example, trimester 1, you might be doing module 1, which starts third week of January, and then beginning of March you go on to module 2, but at the same time you'll be doing another module which might run alongside that. So module 1 and 2 might be practical modules, and module 3 might be a research module where you're doing some more, some more research-based and academic stuff. Some of the courses, songwriting, music production in particular, will have that trimester 2 structure where you've got all 3 modules will be there at the same time, but your hand-in dates are staggered so that although you've got all of them running simultaneously, the actual deadlines don't all fall at the same time.
Yeah, because that would be
that would be unpleasant. And then when you do your final major project or dissertation, that's normally it takes 3 months. So you're working on essentially you're going for a full term, and you get all the support and everything else you would normally get, and the one-to-ones and all that malarkey. Let's talk about money, because obviously this is quite a big question. The current fees, here we go. These are fees for some of the alternative providers out there. USC for the 1-year masters, $66,000. With living costs, probably $90,000. National Film and Television School for UK students, best part of £30,000 over the 2 years, plus another 20 probably for living. Overseas students, it's even more. Pacific Northwest up in Seattle, $40,000. Berkeley Online, $36,000. So it's a major investment. Ours are £10,750 for the MA and $15,750 for the MFA over 2 years. It's the same fee wherever you live. So if you're in the UK, you pay the same as somebody in the US or Australia, and you're paying this for the whole course. This isn't just, so it doesn't matter if you're on full-time or part-time, you're paying for the whole thing. What people sometimes do is they go onto a part-time schedule so that it slows down the rate of payments, because obviously you get invoiced each term, and then you get the term to pay the invoice. So essentially, you can pay in instalments as you go through. Yeah. If you're on a UK student loan, you have to pay at the beginning of each term when you get your student loan payment. Yeah. So it is a major investment. We're well aware of that this is not an insignificant investment, but we believe the quality of our provision, the quality of the opportunity which we can offer you is worth every penny.
And the development, the career prospects and the personal development that are involved in these courses, I think is some of the best I've seen. And I can say with 100% certainty have definitely improved my composing ability. I think after I finished the master's degree with you, I did more composing for you, because I understood everything about the industry a whole lot more, and how to write.
Yeah,
just how to write better.
Absolutely. We use a system called Flywire, which will so that you can pay in your own currency in your own way anywhere in the world.
Super flexible.
Yeah, the right amount of money arrives with us. You can pay monthly or by semester, and it's interest free. So you're paying in, small chunks throughout. So you're paying it off as you're studying. So you won't be,
lumped with a massive debt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For those who want to look at UK student loans, you can borrow up to £12,167. You have to be under 60, no previous MA, and a resident of England, Wales, or Northern Ireland, not Scotland, unfortunately. And you can be on a full-time schedule or part-time over 50%. The money's paid directly to you, and then you pay your fees to us. And it's paid in 3 instalments a year, and it works pretty well. Let's talk about time, because that's the other thing which you're going to invest in this little enterprise. Now, this is very, very variable depending on who your own particular skill set and workflow, but we say that a full-time course is notionally 30 hours a week. That's everything. That's webinars, project work, everything. So part-time can be anything between 8 and 15 hours a week. And you can choose the schedule that suits you, and you can move from full-time to part-time and vice versa, as we were mentioning before. So you did it full-time with a full-time job.
I did, yeah. Whether that was a wise idea, I'm not sure. But I did it.
Yeah.
And I think that realistically, the industry that I wanted to move into, which is why I was doing professional media composition, is fast-paced, is quite high intensity, and I think I wanted to do the 1 year because I was like, if I'm going to do this, then this is going to reflect more accurately what I'm going to be doing. But it's about being carefully, managing your time carefully.
Yeah.
So I would finish work, I would come back, I would do maybe an hour or two of research, watching a film, playing a game,
of course.
taking a part in a webinar, and then I would set aside a certain amount of time on the weekend to get the writing done, or I would do writing throughout the week, depending on how sort of enthused I was about the particular project at a particular time. And you just stick to the schedule, and I stuck to that, and we got through it, and I think it was. Like I said, 100% enriching to my professional development. And was it hard work? Yes. But was it worth it? 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. The application procedure, for those of you who are interested in joining us, most people just get in touch, drop us an email, and say, the question we get a lot is, am I good enough? And because most people, as I said in a video the other week, the vast majority of people think they're worse than they really are. They can't see their own potential, whereas somebody inside the industry can say, oh, you need to improve your music production, but basically your ideas are great, type of thing. So what people tend to do is they just drop an email and say, here's a link to my YouTube, SoundCloud, whatever, what do you think? And we'll say, yeah, you're absolutely good to go. Or we say, look, go away and learn this, or work on your DAW skills, and then come back and see us in 6 months or something like that. The actual application itself, we're simplifying. So what is currently on the website is going to change, because what you'll be required to do, what we need you to do is to send us the application form, some form of personal statement saying what you're attempting to do and what your background is, and a portfolio of work. So in other words, we're looking for some tracks, some songs, some bits of orchestral music, some whatever else it is you write. You can send as much as you like. We're looking really for a minimum of about 3 minutes, and probably more, like a minimum of 2 pieces of music. We can normally tell really quite quickly where you are, and so those are the 3 things: the application form, the portfolio, and the personal statement. And then we'll say, sometimes we'll need to come back to you and ask more and say, can you play, have you got anything like this? Or can you, et cetera, et cetera. But more often than not, that's all there is to it. You should have an undergraduate, a bachelor's degree. It can be in any subject. So if you did nuclear physics, then that's fine.
We've had that.
We have. We had lots of people with PhDs in working in various weird and wonderful industries. If you don't speak English as a first language and you haven't done an undergraduate degree that was taught in English, you'll need a language test. Now, again, get in touch with us, because There's lots of different language tests you can take, and all the marks are different for each of them. So
it's always good that we can point you in the right direction, because
exactly.
it can get confusing.
It can. So, one step at a time. Do you need, Bradley, an undergraduate degree in order to start our master's course?
No, Guy, you don't need an undergraduate degree to start them. In fact, all you need is relevant experience within the industry, equivalent to an undergraduate degree, and we can consider you for entry onto the master's programme.
This isn't just a, Guy and Bradley thing. We haven't just made this up. This is how UK education works, and it's recognition of prior experiential learning. Yes, that's right. And the gist of this is, for example, that you're a gigging musician. You've been playing music for 15 years, but you never finished your undergraduate degree. Are we going to turn you away?
Probably not.
No, of course not, because your professional experience stacks up. And so what we'll probably give you an entry task to do. So if you're coming onto professional media composition, we'll ask you to write a short piece of music. Onto orchestration, you'll be doing an arrangement of a very well-known tune. Songwriting, you'll be writing a little bit about your thoughts about how the music industry has evolved. So it's that kind of thing. It's not it's not too taxing, but we need to establish that you're going to be able to hack it, really. And we want you to be happy and successful, which is what we're here for. So what do you do now? Well, you can do this. You write us an email, hello@thinkspaceeducation.com, and say, I'm interested. Let me know what I have to do. Do you think I'm up to it? Is it the right time for me? How can you help? All those kind of questions. And go and see us. Our website address you can still get to us at thinkspaceeducation.com, but we have a brand spanking new thinkspace.ac.uk, which the reason we've got that is it's the UK equivalent of .edu in the States. It's hard to get. It's because we're registered with the Office for Students, which means that, like every other higher education institution in the UK, we are they go through the ringer with us to make sure that what we do is up to scratch and the quality of our education is the same or better than everybody else in the industry. So when you jump through all those hoops, you get the .ac.uk. So it's another symbol of trust, like our excellent rating on Trustpilot, or our 4.8 on What Uni.
Or a 96% graduation rate.
Exactly. All these things are to give you confidence that you're putting your time and money in the right place. Okay.
Whoa. And breathe.
And breathe. I know. There's a lot to say, and we'd love to explain more about it. At the time, we have 2 entries, September and January at the moment. We take people right up to the last minute.
So there's still time for September?
Absolutely. Well, depending on when you're watching this video.
Yes, yeah, of course.
But if you're watching it,
if you're live, it's still time.
But we have had people literally turn up on the first day of term and somehow manage. If you're uncomplicated and then we can get you through the door. Obviously, the sooner you apply, the better, because as soon as you are accepted and you sign the piece of paper, we start giving you free short courses and all. And we're doing offer holders webinars. I'm doing one next week with some students, or some future students. So come on down, come and see us. I hope you've found that useful, helpful, fun, entertaining, whatever. We'll be back to normal next week with something I think you're going to enjoy, and so all the normal mayhem will continue. But anyway, with my thanks to Brad here, get in touch, have a chat. You can have a chat with Brad. He'll chat to you.
Yeah, I'm easy.
Okay. Anyway, thanks very much, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.
See you soon.